The city was alive with lights and noise. Tall buildings with glass walls reached for the sky, their bright signs shining in the night. Flying cars zipped between the towers, and everywhere there were people rushing by, caught up in their busy lives. This was a city of the future, where technology touched every part of life. But for Alex, the billionaire, the city felt cold and empty. From his high office window, Alex watched the crowds below. His life was full of machines, data, and business deals. Money flowed like a river, but he felt something missing, a connection he could not buy. He had everything the world could offer, but the world did not feel like home. That evening, the sky was dark and thick clouds covered the stars. Rain began to fall softly, turning into a steady drizzle. Alex decided to leave his office early. He needed fresh air and a break from the endless screens and voices. He walked through the busy streets, his coat pulled tight against the rain. People passed him without noticing. Everyone had their own problems, their own rush. The rich and powerful rarely mixed with the poor or the forgotten. Near an old market street, where the neon lights faded and the buildings were worn and cracked, Alex stopped. The rain had made the air cool and fresh, and the sound of water on the pavement was calming. There, under a small, broken canopy, a young girl sat. She was no older than 12 or 13, with dark skin shining softly in the dim light. Her clothes were simple and worn, but clean. Her hair was pulled back neatly, and her eyes held something rare, quiet strength. She was selling small trinkets, tiny carved figures, simple bracelets made of bright thread, and old coins polished to shine. A few people passed by, but no one stopped to look. Alex watched her for a moment. He felt a strange pull, something he had not felt in a long time. Without thinking, he stepped closer. "Are you still open?" he asked softly. The girl looked up, surprised. Her dark eyes met his, steady and calm. "Yes, sir," she said. Her voice was soft but sure. "I don't cost much." Alex smiled slightly. Her words caught him off guard. "I don't cost much, sir," she said it like it was a fact, not a plea. "Show me one of your best pieces," Alex said, kneeling down to her level. She reached under her blanket and pulled out a small wooden bird, carved with care. The bird's wings were spread wide, as if ready to fly. It was smooth, beautiful in its simple way. "This bird?" she asked. "It's special." Alex held the bird in his hand. It was light, but well made. "It's very good." She nodded. "It is. I made it myself." "How much do you want for it?" Alex asked. The girl hesitated, then said, 5 credits. Alex thought about the number. 5 credits was almost nothing to him, the cost of a small meal or a few minutes of his time. But for her, it meant the world. He reached into his pocket and pulled out a few credits. He gave them to her, and she smiled, small but real. "Thank you, sir," she said. Alex felt a strange warmth inside. It was the first time in many years he had felt something like kindness or hope. "Tell me your name," he said. "My name is Myra," she said. "Myra," Alex repeated, tasting the name. It felt good to say it aloud. Myra looked at him carefully. "Why are you here, sir? People like you don't come to this part of the city." Alex smiled, but it was a sad smile. "Maybe I'm tired of my own world." Myra nodded as if she understood. "This place is not much. But it's home." Alex looked around at the cracked walls, the wet streets, and the tired faces passing by. It was not much, but it was real. He stood up slowly. "I have to go now, Myra. But I will come back." She watched him leave, her small hands holding the wooden bird close. As Alex walked back into the rain, he felt something shift inside him. The city around him was still the same, cold and distant, but now it held a new meaning. Somewhere in this crowded place, there was a spark of life he had forgotten. And he would find it again. The next day, Alex couldn't stop thinking about Myra and the small wooden bird. Something about the girl and her quiet strength stayed in his mind, like a light in the dark city. His usual world of glass buildings and flashing screens felt emptier than ever. Alex decided to learn more about where Myra lived. The market where he met her was on the edge of the city's bright center, but beyond that was another place, a hidden world beneath the shining towers. He took an old elevator down many floors, far below the streets where most people went. The elevator walls were cracked and rusted, and the air smelled different, cooler, damp, and a little musty. When the doors opened, Alex stepped into a narrow tunnel dimly lit by old bulbs hanging from the ceiling. People moved quickly in the shadows, carrying bags or pushing carts. The walls were covered with graffiti, and the ground was uneven with cracks and puddles. This was the underground city, a place where the forgotten people lived, away from the rich towers above. Alex walked carefully, feeling like an outsider in a strange world. He asked a woman near a small stall, "Where can I find the market?" She looked at him with tired eyes but didn't turn away. "Follow the sound of the people. You'll find it." The sound led Alex through twisting streets and low ceilings. There were small shops made from old metal and wood, where people sold food, clothes, and handmade things. Children played with simple toys, laughing despite the hard life. Finally, Alex saw Myra. She was sitting on the ground, carving another small figure from a piece of wood. Her hands moved fast and sure. When Myra saw Alex, she stood up quickly, her eyes sharp. "Sir," she said quietly. "You should not be here." Alex smiled softly. "I wanted to see where you live. I wanted to understand." Myra looked away for a moment. "It is not a safe place for people like you. The underground is for those who have no other choice." Alex nodded. "I want to help." Myra's eyes widened. "Help? You don't know what it means here. This is a place of struggle." Alex reached into his pocket and pulled out some credits. "Maybe I don't know everything. But I want to try." Myra looked at the credits, then back at Alex. She sighed and nodded. "Come. I will show you." She led him through narrow alleys and tunnels. The deeper they went, the darker and colder it became. Yet, there was something else, a feeling of community. People smiled at Myra as she passed, greeting her warmly. They trusted her. At last, they reached a large open space where a group of people gathered around a fire. Some cooked food, others mended clothes or told stories. This was the heart of the underground, a small village of hope. An older man stood up when he saw Myra. "You brought a guest?" he asked with a smile. "This is Alex," Myra said. "He wants to help." The man nodded slowly. "Then you must understand our way. We survive by trusting each other, not by machines or money." Alex looked around. Here, technology was old and simple. No flying cars or glowing screens. Instead, people shared what they had, helping neighbors and strangers alike. Myra explained, "The city above forgets us. They say we are useless. But we are alive. We create. We fight to keep our families safe." Alex felt respect growing inside him. This world was different from his own, harsher, yes, but full of real life. That night, Alex stayed in the underground village. He ate simple food and listened to stories about hard times and small victories. Myra's community had a strength that money could never buy. Before he left, Alex asked, "What do you need most?" Myra thought for a moment. "Hope. And tools to build better lives? Not just machines to control, but things that help us grow." Alex promised, "I will do what I can. You and your people deserve more." As he returned to the bright city above, Alex carried more than just plans or money. He carried a new understanding. The underground was not a place to fix or change, it was a place to respect and support. For the first time, he saw the city not as a map of wealth and power, but as a web of lives, each one important. And Myra, the girl who said she didn't cost much, had already given Alex something priceless, the chance to see humanity in its truest form. After his visit to the underground, Alex could not stop thinking about Myra and the people she lived with. Their lives were hard, but their spirits were strong. He saw how much hope and courage they had despite their struggles. Back in his tall glass building, surrounded by machines and screens, Alex made a decision. He would use his wealth and power to help the underground community. Not just with money, but with new tools and technology, the kind that could make a real difference. The next day, Alex returned to the market where he had first met Myra. The rain had stopped, and the sun shone weakly through the clouds. Myra was there again, her small hands carefully arranging her handmade trinkets. "Hello, Myra," Alex said softly. Myra looked up and smiled a little. "Hello, sir." Alex knelt down to her level and held out a small device, a simple tool that could clean water quickly and easily. "This is for you and your community. It can make the water safe to drink." Myra took the device carefully, studying it with interest. "Thank you, sir. But what will you want in return?" Alex shook his head. "Nothing. I want to help, just because it is the right thing to do." Myra looked at him for a long moment. "Most people from the city want something. Money, power, or control." Alex smiled sadly. "Not me." That afternoon, Alex met with the leaders of the underground village. He brought more tools, small solar panels, medical supplies, and books with knowledge about growing food and fixing machines. The leaders listened carefully as Alex spoke. He promised to send more help and to create jobs that would give people a chance to build better lives. But not everyone was happy about this. Some in the underground feared change. They worried that the city above would come and take over their home. Others thought that accepting help from a billionaire was a trap. Myra stood beside Alex, explaining, "He does not want to take anything from us. He wants to give." Slowly, the community began to accept the offer. They saw that Alex's help could bring real improvements without taking away their independence. In the weeks that followed, the underground began to change. The small solar panels brought light to dark tunnels, clean water flowed from new filters. Gardens grew in hidden spaces, bright with green leaves and fresh vegetables. Alex visited often, working side by side with Myra and others. He learned how to repair old machines and how to listen to people's stories. One evening, as they sat around a fire, Myra said, "You see us now, not just as a problem or a number. You see us as people." Alex nodded. "You are more than that. You are strong. And you deserve a chance." But trouble was growing above the city. At one of Alex's business meetings, a rival named Damon spoke with cold eyes. Damon was a powerful man who wanted to keep things the same. He feared that helping the underground would upset his control. "This idea of helping the underground," Damon said, "is dangerous. It will cost us money and power. We should stop it." Alex stood firm. "This is not about power. It is about doing what is right." Damon sneered. "You don't understand the city. People like us keep it running." Alex realized then that his fight was only beginning. Back in the underground, Myra warned, "Some people above will try to stop us. We must be careful." Together, Alex and Myra worked to build trust between the underground and the city, between old ways and new. One night, a group of workers gathered to talk about the future. "We have lived in darkness for too long," said a woman named Lila, a leader in the village. "With help, we can build a better life for our children." Myra smiled at Lila's words. "And we will keep our pride and strength. We will not lose who we are." Alex listened quietly, feeling hope grow. He knew the road ahead would be difficult, but he also knew this was the most important work of his life. And he was ready. The city above gleamed like a diamond, but beneath its shine, tensions were growing darker and deeper. Alex knew that his work to help the underground was not welcomed by everyone. Some powerful people wanted the world to stay exactly as it was, with the rich on top and the poor left below, hidden and forgotten. One morning, as Alex arrived at his office, he noticed strange faces in the lobby, men in dark suits, watching him closely. He understood immediately. Damon, his rival, had sent them. Alex did not fear them. He knew that power sometimes tried to frighten those who dared to change the rules. But he also knew he needed to be careful. The underground depended on him now. At the same time, Myra and the others faced their own challenges. The community was growing stronger, but the city's elite saw their progress as a threat. One evening, Myra was walking home through a quiet tunnel when she heard footsteps behind her. She stopped and turned, but no one was there. Still, she felt eyes watching her. The next day, a small workshop where they repaired old machines was broken into. Tools were stolen, and equipment was damaged. Myra and Alex knew this was no accident. "We must be careful," Myra said, her voice steady but tired. "They want to scare us." Alex agreed. "But fear will not stop us." He increased security in the underground, and he brought more support from his company. He met with leaders and promised to protect their home. Meanwhile, Damon worked to spread rumors in the city. He told people that Alex was using the underground for his own gain. Many believed him, afraid of losing their power and control. But Alex did not give up. He visited the underground every day, working with Myra and the people. Together, they repaired the broken workshop and replaced the stolen tools. One night, as they worked by the light of a small fire, Myra said, "We have to show them that we are not afraid. That we are part of the city." Alex nodded. "Then we will make our voices heard." They decided to hold a meeting in the city square, a place where both rich and poor could come together. It was a bold plan, and many in the underground were nervous. But Myra stood tall. "If we stay hidden, nothing will change. It is time for the world above to see us." On the day of the meeting, people gathered slowly. The city square was filled with a mix of faces, curious, skeptical, and some even angry. Alex stepped forward and spoke clearly. "This city belongs to all of us. We are stronger together. The underground is not a problem to hide, it is a community to respect." Myra followed, her voice strong and proud. "We have skills, ideas, and dreams. We want to build a future with you." The crowd was quiet, listening to words they did not often hear. Some whispered in surprise. Others nodded slowly. But Damon was watching from the edge, his face hard and angry. He saw that Alex and Myra were breaking the walls between two worlds, walls he had built to keep power safe. He whispered to his men, "We cannot let this happen." That night, as the city slept, strange things began. Machines in Alex's building were hacked, causing errors and delays. Messages threatened the underground community. But the people refused to back down. Myra said, "We are not alone." Alex used his knowledge to trace the attacks, working with Myra and the community to protect their home. Together, they fought back, not with violence, but with courage and unity. Slowly, the city began to change. More people came to the meetings, more voices joined the call for fairness and respect. Alex and Myra became symbols of hope, proof that even in a world built on power and money, kindness and courage could break walls. As the sun rose over the city, Alex looked out from his office window. The lights below flickered with new energy, not just machines, but people. And for the first time, he believed the future could be different. The city was changing slowly, but change was never easy. Alex and Myra felt it with every step they took. Their work had brought hope to many, but it also brought new challenges. The rich still held power, and old habits died hard. But Alex had learned something important: real power came from people, not money or machines. He saw that technology could help everyone, not just the wealthy few. One morning, Alex invited Myra to his office. It was a bright space, filled with plants and light. It was very different from the underground tunnels, but Alex wanted her to feel comfortable. "Myra," Alex said, "I want to build something new. A company that does not just make money, but helps people." Myra looked around the room, her eyes shining. "That sounds like a good idea. But it will not be easy." Alex smiled. "I know. But I am ready to try." Together, they started to plan. They wanted to create technology that could be used by the underground and the city alike. Tools for clean water, energy, education, and health. Alex worked with his engineers, sharing stories of the underground. He showed them the small devices Myra had used, and the gardens growing in dark tunnels. Slowly, the engineers began to understand. They stopped thinking only about profits and started thinking about people. Myra helped by teaching the engineers about the real needs of her community. She showed them how to make tools simple, strong, and easy to repair. One day, Myra took Alex to visit a new project, a small school built in the underground. Children sat around tables, learning from screens powered by solar panels. They smiled and asked questions, excited to learn. Alex felt a deep joy. He had never seen such hope. But not everyone was happy. Damon, Alex's rival, saw the changes and grew angry. He met with other business leaders, warning them that Alex's new vision was dangerous. "We cannot let him weaken the system," Damon said. "If we lose control, everything will fall apart." They planned to stop Alex's company from helping the underground. They wanted to keep things as they were, with power and money in the hands of the few. But Alex was not afraid. He held meetings with city leaders, sharing the successes of the underground projects. He invited people from all parts of the city to join the new vision. Slowly, minds began to change. More companies started to see the value in helping everyone, not just themselves. The city's government promised support for clean energy and education projects. Myra became a leader not only in the underground but in the city as well. She spoke at meetings and events, telling stories of courage and hope. One evening, Alex and Myra stood together on a rooftop, looking at the city below. "Do you think we can really change things?" Myra asked quietly. Alex looked at her, his eyes full of hope. "We already are." The lights of the city flickered like stars, showing a future filled with promise. Together, they believed that a new vision was possible, a future where technology and kindness worked hand in hand, and where everyone had a chance to shine. The city was beginning to feel different. Where once there was only noise and cold steel, now there were signs of life and hope. The underground community was growing stronger, and the new projects were bringing light to places that had long been dark. Alex and Myra had become a team that many looked up to. Their work was changing lives, breaking old barriers, and building bridges between two worlds. But with every step forward, new challenges appeared. One morning, Alex received an urgent message. There had been a problem at one of the underground water stations. The filters, the very tools they had sent to make clean water, were failing. Without clean water, the people were at risk. Alex felt a heavy weight in his chest. He knew the importance of the project, but he also knew that problems like this could shake the trust they had built. He called Myra immediately. "We need to fix this quickly. Can you help me get there?" Myra nodded. "I will meet you at the station." They both arrived at the underground water station just as the sun was setting. The place was small, hidden in a corner of the tunnels, but it was a lifeline for many families. Alex looked at the broken filters. They had been damaged by poor maintenance and bad water quality problems they had not fully understood before. This is bigger than just the machines, Myra said. It is about education. People need to know how to take care of the tools. Alex agreed. We need to teach them, not just give them devices. Together, they organized a team of volunteers from the community. They created workshops to teach people how to repair and maintain the filters and other tools. Slowly, the water station returned to life. But the problem had opened their eyes to a greater challenge. Technology alone was not enough. They needed to build knowledge and skills, and create trust within the community. At the same time, Damon and his allies were growing more aggressive. They spread false rumors that the new projects were dangerous and that the underground community was trying to take over the city. Some city leaders began to question Alex's work, and some companies withdrew their support. Alex felt the pressure, but Myra was determined. We cannot stop now, she said firmly. This is our home, and we will protect it. Together, they planned a public event to show the real success of their projects. They invited city leaders, engineers, and the people from both above and below ground. The event was held in a large hall near the city center. There were displays of the clean water system, the solar energy panels, and the school. Children from the underground performed songs and dances, showing their joy and pride. Alex spoke clearly to the crowd. This is not just about machines or money. It is about people, about hope, courage, and community. Myra followed. We are all part of the city. We must work together to build a future where no one is left behind. The audience was moved. Many leaders promised to support the projects again. Damon watched from the shadows, frustrated but not defeated. After the event, Alex and Myra returned to the underground village. The people were tired but hopeful. We have work to do, Alex said. But we are stronger than ever. Myra smiled. And we will keep growing together. That night, as the city lights flickered like stars, Alex realized something important: real change was never easy. It took hard work, patience, and the courage to face challenges without giving up. And he was ready for whatever came next. The city had changed. Slowly, quietly, the walls between the underground and the towers above were breaking down. What once seemed impossible was now real: a community growing stronger, connected by hope and hard work. Alex stood on the rooftop of his building, watching the sun rise. The sky was painted with soft oranges and pinks. Below, the streets were alive with movement and sound: children laughing, people working, gardens blooming in places that had once been dark and forgotten. He thought of Myra. The girl who had first said, "I don't cost much, sir." She had changed everything. Not by asking for riches or special treatment, but by showing strength and hope. Myra walked up beside him, her eyes bright with determination. It feels like a new day. Alex smiled. It is. Because of you, and everyone who believed in a better future. Together, they had built more than just projects. They had built trust, a bridge between two worlds that had seemed forever apart. In the underground village, new schools opened. Children learned not only from books but from the people around them, stories of courage, kindness, and dreams. Clean water flowed freely. Gardens grew in the tunnels, their green leaves reaching toward the light that filtered down from above. The city above began to change, too. Businesses that once cared only for profits started thinking about people. New laws protected the rights of all citizens, not just the wealthy. At a city meeting, Alex spoke again. We have shown that when we work together, we are stronger. Our future depends on kindness and courage, not just money and power. Myra stood beside him, proud and strong. We will keep building. We will keep dreaming. Because every life matters. But change was not always easy. Some people still resisted, afraid of losing control or power. Damon, the rival who once tried to stop them, had lost much of his influence but still worked quietly against progress. One day, Alex received a message from Damon, a challenge. You think you can change the city? We'll see. Alex knew that the fight was not over. But he also knew that the people were ready. Myra gathered the community and said, "We are not alone. We have each other. And together, we will face whatever comes." The challenge became a test of unity. The underground and the city above came together like never before. People shared ideas, skills, and hope. When trouble came, they stood strong. When problems appeared, they solved them together. Alex looked at Myra, and she smiled. "You were right. I don't cost much. But I am worth a lot." Alex laughed softly. "You are worth more than you know." As the sun rose higher, lighting the city and the underground below, Alex felt something deep inside, a promise of a future where everyone mattered, where strength came from kindness, and where hope was never lost. The city was no longer divided. It was one home. And the dawn of this new day was just the beginning.